I had no idea of being a nun. I was Jewish. I still am. I'm the most Jewish a Jew could be is to be Catholic. So I'm not Jewish anymore. My religion is Catholicism, which is the fulfillment of Judaism. So I'm a Hebrew Catholic. I'm a Catholic of Hebrew roots, Jewish roots, and I believe in God's word and the fulfillment of it, that he sent the Jewish Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Messiah, and I am a Jewish Catholic or a Hebrew Catholic, whatever you want to call it. And so I grew up in a conservative Jewish home, and we knew there were two people in the world. I'm not going to give my whole testimony, just how I was supposedly called. And two people in the world, Jews and non-Jews. We never had a negative word about non-Jewish people. We were beaten up. My brother was stabbed once, and we were beaten because we're Jews and because we told we were Christ killers. And I didn't know who Christ was. How could I kill somebody I never even met? I didn't know who he was. How could I be his killer? Anyway, that's how we grew up. And when I got older, I've been on my own since I'm 17, and I worked in Manhattan. We used to see nuns, black and white, habits to the floor, walking through Brooklyn where I grew up. And all of a sudden in the 60s, it was the miniskirt era, the news came out that nuns had permission to shorten their habits to knee length. I didn't even know the word habit. But the middle of the miniskirt era, I thought, my goodness, whoever these women are, they're in the world to bring the world to God. And instead, the world has brought them. They're in the world to affect the world for God. Instead, the world has affected them, because I thought it was a response to the miniskirt era that all of a sudden nuns' habits would be knee length. It was shocking. And that's all. The thing of that is, it had nothing to do with me, but something ripped through me like an electric bolt ripped through me. And it paralyzed me for a second and a half physically. And the thing was, it had nothing to do with me, but it was my loss. I was 19 years old. It was my deep and immediate loss. I lost what wasn't mine, had nothing to do with me. 26 years later, I was listening to a troublemaker named Scott Hahn because my brother had entered the Catholic Church and I was trying to save him. So I was listening to tapes, and Scott Hahn gave his testimony, and he said at the end of the 4-hour debate with systematic Presbyterian, systematic theology, and Protestant, at the end of a 4-hour debate, Scott Hahn said, for the one who will look into the claims of the Catholic Church, 2,000 years of church history, the church fathers and such, he said, to that person will come, Scott's words, a holy shock and a glorious amazement to find out what he had been fighting, and to save people from, was what the church Christ established, the Catholic Church. And the holy shock, physical electric bolt that went through me when I was 19 years old, at the shortening of nuns' habits, went through me that moment with Scott's words. And I stood paralyzed again for a second and a half or longer. And at that moment, I was heading Protestant women's ministries of a large Protestant evangelical church. And at that moment, I knew from that holy shock that if I did not look into the claims of the Catholic Church, I'd be turning from God. Why would God want me, of all people? I want people out of the Catholic Church. I thought it was the whore of Babylon. I thought it was a man-made false religious system. Why would God want me, of all people, to look into the Catholic Church? And I said, well, maybe to better save Catholics. And that began a 4.5-year journey to the Catholic Church. And when I was leaving my Protestant, full-time Protestant ministry, I went to New York and I took a waitress job because I didn't want any company to invest in me. So I took a waitress job. And I had dinner. I told 4 people in the world. I had dinner with my best friend in the world, an evangelical. And I told her that I'm not telling anyone. The reason I'm not telling anyone is because I don't want to confuse them if the Catholic Church is wrong. And I don't want them trying to save me when I've already been looking into the faith for a couple of years and I already know a lot of answers that they would have objections to. And so I said to her, I'm going to New York, take a waitress job. And I said, Beth, I need to see if the Catholic Church is true. And she looked at me. We were in the middle of I told this story before, a big sizzle restaurant in California. And she said, Rosalind Moss, my given name. She said, Roz, if you become Catholic, you're not going to be a nun, are you? And I thought, a nun? I said, Beth, I never thought of that. But I said, could you see me? My instant response, I said, could you see me walking through this Sizzler restaurant in a black and white habit to the floor? Because that's what I knew from Brooklyn. I said, even if people think I'm a medieval wacko, they have to think of God. Whatever they think of God, they have to think of God. And I could look back now and tell you that from that day, I'm not going to be a nun, that's crazy, but I've never stopped longing to be assigned to God in the world. And so here I am. There's a lot more stories to that. I might tell you a few of them.